saying there is a nuclear waste dump in the middle of Austin. This has never been reported on, just like this situation outside San Diego has never been reported on, is muy dangerous. But I know they know, because our phones are tapped, that we're looking at this, so it doesn't matter. I've got to go ahead and say it here on air, even though the report's not ready. But this will be national news. So, I mean, I'm supposed to talk about, because that's what everybody's upset about. I'm upset about it. Ron Paul. Hey, you know what? Ron Paul's a good guy. Rand Paul's a good guy. They've got a bunch of mainline Republican analysts working for him now, and I think they're making big mistakes. But I don't want to hear the denial that Ron Paul's not involved in this. And it's our job as his diehard supporters and contributors to not let them compromise, instead of saying, gee, is it okay to criticize anything they're doing? Over 80% in the poll we've got at Infowars.com, was 80% last night. Let me check it now. Think that it is a bad idea for Rand Paul to join with Mitt Romney. Do you approve of Rand Paul's decision to work within the establishment and support Mitt Romney? We've got 5,697 votes. This poll, before it had bugs, when we took it down, used to get like 50,000 votes. Not this particular poll, but I mean the old poll system we had. This new one people don't use as much. People should go vote there. It's at the bottom right-hand corner of Infowars.com. Do you approve of Rand Paul's decision to work within the establishment and support Mitt Romney? 80%, that's what it was last night. 4,574 votes against. 20% say yes. And that's out of just pure loyalty to Ron Paul. And I mean, I get it. I understand. Work within the Republicans, try to change them. But that's not what I'm seeing happening. I'm getting mail endorsing mainline neocon Republicans from Campaign for Liberty, and so is everybody else. Ron Paul wasn't even sure if he was going to speak at this big festival, you know, the counter national convention, because it might make the Republicans mad. But now the Republicans say they're okay with it because of what Rand's done. I mean, you know, I've not found compromise is the way to go. I'm going to play Tom Woods. This is a video Tom put up, but then pulled down. And he said, well, you know what? He doesn't want to put salt in the wound. He wants to wait and see. He thinks Ron Paul will do the right thing and come out and say that he's not going to endorse Romney. We invited him on the show. He's been on before years ago. And he said he'd come on later, but he's not going to come on today. Well, you know what, Tom? You put the video out there. We've got it. We're going to air it here coming up, because what you said was very eloquent and took courage. We'll be right back. Tonight on InfoWars Nightly News, we're going to show you footage of the sealed caves over off Redwood Trail at the old dam, where in the 60s and 70s and right into the 80s, the University of Texas dumped radiological waste from the nuclear reactor. According to the former head of operations at the University of Texas, head of the campus facilities. And I know about the reactor. I know about all the secrecy. They even tell students at UT there's not a reactor, still going through its half-life phase underneath the LBJ library and museum. Yeah, the Presidential Library Museum. First one in the country, by the way, was for LBJ. They built it on top of a nuclear reactor. And took there's also underground tunnels under there. I've confirmed that separately, that are connected out to Bergstrom, where was the former SAC base. The Hilton Hotel out there, a circular hotel, is the former SAC command base for much of the United States. There's a whole bunch of secret stuff around here. I live here, and you need to understand, folks, this is happening all over the world, not just here in the U.S. There are giant black projects, secret programs happening. Some of the other news coming up, and then I'll get to the Tom Woods video ahead of our guest joining us. I remember Kurt Nimmo writing this article yesterday from European, Russian, and Middle Eastern sources. Russia denies sending helicopters to Syria, says West arming rebels. But there are news articles out today, out of the Financial Times and others, saying that Russia defends arms sales to Syria. But it turned out they just make that up. Here's the New York Times reporting today, and again, Kurtz for InfoWars yesterday said it wasn't true. People got mad at him in the comments and said he was a Ruski agent or something. Last time I checked, folks, it isn't the Ruskis that are got drones in the sky and putting sodium fluoride and radioactive isotopes in my water. Last time I checked it wasn't the Ruskis that run the Federal Reserve. If the Ruskis do anything to America, they can go straight to a place where the sun don't shine, okay? I'm sick of the globalists going, oh, Al-Qaeda's going to get you. You don't give your rights up. Be patriot. Oh, the Russians will get you. The Chinese will get you. You mean the same Chinese government, our criminal government, paid $20+ million to ship General Motors to? Shut up with your lies. I am so sick of these neocon groups putting out articles. I see them almost every day saying I'm a Ruski agent or something. I am a tooth fairy before I'm that. But again, it just shows their disinformation. Sorry, I'm ranting. Here it is. Copters in Syria may not be new, U.S. officials say. Oh, turns out they got sold a long time ago. Hillary on Tuesday accused of shipping attack helicopters to Syria that would escalate the conflict. But they go on to say she put a little bit of a spin on it, said one senior Defense Department official, because they'd been delivered a long time ago. Also, CNN floats idea of U.S. assassinating Syrian President Assad. What's Hillary say? They came, they saw, Gaddafi died, and they put Al-Qaeda in? And again, I'm supposed to, oh, you must like Al-Qaeda that you don't want all these wars going on. Wars? They say, look, Al-Qaeda is in this country, invade, and then the West uses Al-Qaeda to actually invade the country. I know I rant a lot about that. It just makes my head spin. By the way, I'm probably seeing, no exaggeration, 20 or more articles every day saying Obama is done. Washington Post, Der Spiegel, Associated Press, his poll numbers plunging, MSNBC saying he's a dead political duck. I guess our sources and people like Jerome Corsi are right. The Bilderbergs have decided they can't get anywhere with Obama, and they are looking at getting rid of him. And before you say hip, hip, hooray, and believe me, I'll be glad to quit seeing him on TV all the time. I hate Obama, but I hate his globalist masters a lot more. Here comes Mitt Romney. We're all supposed to get all excited like Obama idiots. 4 years ago when he was president-elect or getting ready to be. And, oh, my gosh, woo, boy, Bush is out of there. McCain, you lost. Woo, we're going to get free houses and free cars, and the economy's going to be back. And yippee-ki-yay, we got rid of Bush. I'm like, bought and paid for by the same people, nothing but puppets. That's not even a sophisticated point. That's a no-brainer, 1 + 1 = 2. And now I've got to sit here and watch. I mean, I saw a CNN clip this morning. We'll play it later if we have time. With Rand Paul, God bless his little heart. You know, with his little Ronald McDonald hair and everything. I'm sorry. He's up there. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. He's sitting there. I mean that affectionately. He's sitting there, and it's like a mini-me of Ron Paul. It's like, here's the big Ron Paul, and then there's like Dr. Good has like a little Dr. Evil on his knee. And the host of CNN's going, well, wait a minute, your dad didn't agree with him on this and that. And he's like, oh, no, Romney wants to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Oh, no, he is. I mean, it was just like watching this defense of Romney. This isn't just an endorsement. This is an absolute worship fest of Mitt Romney. Okay, he'll save us.
We're on the march. The Alex Jones Show.
Okay, this Austin nuclear reactor story is so important. And it fits in with UT having big labs out in the University of Texas in New Mexico, has a bunch of big labs. It ties into the salt reactor in 59 outside San Diego that blew up bigger than Chernobyl and wasn't even admitted to till decades later. In fact, you look it up, there's hardly even any news about it. In fact, looking it up, we found another reactor site outside L.A., where they were dumping the stuff. Ruling expected on L.A. nuclear cleanup. The case involves a Cold War-era accident at the Santa Susana Field Laboratory. And this is NBC News. This just came out last year. But the point is, here's another report. California's historical nuclear meltdown. Japan's nuclear power crisis has planted indelible memories worldwide on the revived doubts about the health and safety of nuclear power. It may unsettle many to discover that California, too, and they kept it secret, experienced a partial nuclear meltdown. The accident, which occurred in 59, is claimed to have released more radiation than 3 Mile Island. Yeah, I think it's 70 times, they say. The severity of health impacts from the incident on site workers and to the surrounding community is still being debated. Oh, yes. Now, of course, we now learn a year ago, radioactive tuna, just 3 months after Chernobyl was being caught, and the government knew and covered it up off L.A. and off San Diego. Folks, we told you at the time, they had state labs in Connecticut, as far east as Connecticut and Vermont, high levels, dozens and dozens. It was like 25, 30-something, depending on the lab, in the milk of cows, because they're bioaccumulating. They're eating grass where this stuff's coming down. See, the trade winds, the jet stream, all of it comes from over Japan and dumps in at different areas over the United States. And you've got the currents going up to Alaska. The hair is falling out of the seals and the people that live there, that the fishermen and the flight attendants that are flying through it. This is in the news. I mean, this is happening. And then we go out to look at the reactor, and one of our crew members, who hadn't been on air yet, he's going to be with us after the break here in a moment. He's like, oh, yeah, my grandfather was the head guy for UT over all the buildings and their maintenance. And we looked that up. Sure enough, there he is. And yeah, he said that they would take rods, chemicals, the fluid out of the reactor, the old one that's under the LBJ library, the presidential library in Austin. And everything he was saying, I'd gotten pieces of from other sources. Aaron tried to do a documentary when he was at UT in film school. He also got a degree from their School of Public Affairs there, Aaron Dykes. And they tried to just ask questions and got threatened with arrest about it. Wanted to try to get down in there with their cameras. The security guards admitted there was a bunch of stuff. Just like they store the nuclear waste on site, reportedly it's still under UT. Well, now we're learning from the 60s and 70s, and he'd never been there. His grandpa told him where it was, how they sealed the limestone caves, and he went over there. They went over there yesterday, and sure enough, it's there. Let me just tell you this. AM radio ain't coming in over the site. We've got to get some good radiation detectors and get over there before they try to kick everybody out of the area. And again, if you got radiation, AM radio gets cut out. We're going to find out what's going on. It was a uranium reactor. And again, this is about 98% confirmed. We know about the two research reactors they've got that are more modern at the J.J. Pickle Center up in North Austin off Research. And that area, giant area with big fences around it. I mean, there's hundreds, and there's like 500, 600 yards just between the fences and the facility and the reactors, and they're very quiet about that. The average Austinite doesn't even know they're there. I'm already getting into it. He's going to join us. I'm going to recap this, and I'm getting out just a preliminary him on record before we get the video out tonight, because the guys were out till like 9, 10 o'clock last night. They just got in, and I've gone ahead and talked about it because I know they're listening to our phones. A lot of stuff going on today, and so I'm just going to get this on record in case they SWAT team us and say we've got heroin and cocaine in here. Because believe me, ladies, or dead children or something, or prostitutes, or Easter bunnies. Because believe me, if this is correct, and this is the report, and we know there's reactors, we know that they always did this in the old days, just dumped it on the edge of town. Where they dumped it's the middle of Austin now, but in the 70s was on the edge of town. This is exactly how they do it. At old dams and old facilities and old research